The night shift on Terran Research Outpost 9 was usually so quiet that Lieutenant Rian Calder could hear the low hum of the ventilation system like a soft lullaby. The outpost floated on the far edge of explored space, surrounded by empty black. No trade routes, no colonies, no threats, just research stations, dull reports, and long, silent hours. Most people hated assignments like this. Rian didn't. The calm suited him. He had just settled into his small gray bunk, a simple bed pressed into the wall of his private quarters. His boots were still on the floor, dust from the mining deck scattered around them. He ran a tired hand across his eyes, ready to surrender to sleep. But sleep never came. Instead, a sharp crack echoed through the room. At first, Rian thought a power relay had blown somewhere in the walls. But the sound repeated, louder this time. And then, right in the middle of his room, the air began to twist. Not move, twist, as if someone had grabbed reality like cloth and spun it. Pale blue light seeped from the distortion, casting bright lines across the floor. Rian pushed himself off the bed in one sudden motion. He reached for the emergency panel, but before he could activate it, the twisting air burst open like a bubble. A wave of cool air rushed across the room, and with it came a figure. A woman stepped out of the distortion. She did not fall or stumble. She simply appeared, placing one foot gently on the floor, as if she had walked through an invisible doorway. Light shimmered across her skin, running in thin silver lines like gentle circuitry. She wore no armor, no exosuit, nothing that looked protective at all. Only a simple short tunic of unfamiliar gray fabric, clean but worn. Her eyes caught Rian's attention most. They were bright, too bright. Spirals of soft gold moved inside them like small galaxies spinning behind her pupils. She blinked once, slowly, then surveyed the room with calm curiosity. Not fear, not confusion, only confidence. Rian finally found his voice. Identify yourself. His hand moved to his holster by instinct, though he didn't draw the weapon yet. This is a restricted military zone. The woman did not seem bothered by the command or the tension in his voice. She turned her gaze back to him and smiled an oddly warm and proud smile, as if everything around her made perfect sense. This place, she said, tapping her foot gently on the floor, belongs to you? Rian wasn't sure how to answer. Yes, this is my room. Her gaze moved to his bed. The small, narrow, not at all impressive bunk he had nearly fallen asleep in minutes earlier. She walked toward it, her steps light and silent. Then she pressed her palm flat against the mattress. I claim this place, she declared in a clear, steady voice. Your bed shall be my sanctuary. Rian stared at her, completely stunned. Your what? My sanctuary. She turned fully toward him now. I have crossed great distance seeking protection. According to my people's customs, the bed of a chosen host grants safety. It is a sign of trust, of refuge. That is not how things work here, Rian said sharply, though the shock in his voice softened the tone. You can't just appear in my room and claim my bed. Her smile grew amused, almost playful. Yet, I have. Rian exhaled hard through his nose and reached again for his emergency panel. She raised a hand not in threat, but in a calm, formal gesture, like a peaceful salute. My name is Silara, she said. I am, how your species might say it, an emissary, a wanderer between stars. I am unarmed. I seek protection. You are the closest resonant mind. So I arrived here. Arrived here. Resonant mind? Rian repeated. You have a stable inner field, Silara explained simply. Your thoughts do not shake or twist. They are grounded. To us, such a mind is safe. You scanned me? Rian asked, confused. Only lightly. Silara tilted her head. You keep things calm, even when they frighten you. This is rare. Rian wasn't sure whether to feel complimented or concerned. He stepped closer, but slowly, cautious. If you need protection, you should speak to the station commander, or medical, or anyone besides me. Silara's golden eyes dimmed slightly. I do not know if they will give protection. And I will? Rian asked. Yes, Silara said immediately, without a hint of doubt. You stood without drawing your weapon. That tells me you think first and shoot second. A rare choice in most species. Well, that's humans, Rian muttered awkwardly. He cleared his throat. You said you're being chased. By who? Her shoulders stiffened. The soft glow in her skin dimmed. The Velcor continuum. The Velcor. The Velcor. Rian didn't recognize the name, but the way she said it made the room feel colder. They seek something encoded within me, she continued. A secret they must not possess. If they find me, they will not only take me, they will tear apart anything standing in their way. That included the outpost. And everyone inside it. Rian straightened. If they're coming here, they will not arrive immediately, Silara said quickly. I crossed between folds of space too irregular for their scanners. But they will trace the distortion in time. So we're on a clock, Rian said. Yes. Rian looked again at his bed, at her hand resting on the edge of it. Of all the problems he expected on a quiet night shift, a hunted alien emissary claiming his bunk definitely wasn't on the list. He rubbed his forehead. Okay. Let's say I believe you. You still can't stay in my room. Not stay, Silara corrected softly. Claim. It is symbolic. Your bed is not a sleeping place to us. It is a request for protection. A declaration that I place my life in your hands. Rian blinked. Then why choose me? Silara met his gaze, her golden eyes steady. Because you are human. That's not an answer. It is. Humans do not ignore those who seek safety. Not in the records I have found. Not in your history. And especially, not in this part of space. Rian was quiet. She wasn't wrong. Humans had earned a reputation in nearby systems, small, stubborn, and strangely protective of anyone who asked for help. He sighed. Fine. Silara nodded politely, though she glanced once more at the bed, as if marking it in her memory. When Rian opened the door, the hall outside was empty, except for the dim lights and quiet humming wires. But as he stepped out, he felt a strange sensation. A sudden awareness, like the air behind him had changed pressure. He turned. Silara stood right at his side, closer than he expected. Not threatening, just near. You move fast, he said. I stay close to my protector, she replied calmly. I'm not your protector, Rian said quickly. Not yet, Silara said, walking beside him. But you will be. Rian didn't argue. He didn't know how. As they moved through the quiet corridors, one thought kept echoing in his mind. If she's telling the truth, someone dangerous is coming. And humanity just became part of her fight. And it all started because she appeared out of thin air, smiled confidently, and claimed his bed. The quiet hallways of Terran Research Outpost 9 usually felt slow and sleepy at this hour. But as Lieutenant Rian Calder walked with Silara beside him, the silence felt heavier. Not peaceful. Not calm. Heavy like the air itself knew trouble was close. Silara moved with quiet steps, staying very close to him. She didn't cling or act scared, but she clearly wasn't letting distance grow between them. Her golden, spiral eyes kept scanning the lights, corners, and ceiling panels, as if searching for invisible threats. Rian cleared his throat as they turned toward the central lift. If you want protection, you should be honest with the commander. You can't hide anything. I do not hide, Silara said in her calm tone. I only shorten the truth. Shorten? Rian raised an eyebrow. What does that mean? She looked at him, her expression serious for the first time that night. If I speak the entire truth, you will not sleep for many cycles. That bad? Yes, she answered simply. The lift doors slid open, and they stepped inside. As the cabin hummed upward, Ryan noticed the faint flicker of worry on her face, the first clear sign that she wasn't as confident as she pretended to be. Silara, he asked quietly, who exactly are the Velcor Continuum? She took a slow breath. An empire. An old one. Their technology is strong, but their hearts are cold. They believe order is worth any cost. If they want something, they take it. And they want you. No, Silara corrected in a soft voice. They want what is inside me. Which is? She paused long enough that Rian wondered if she would even answer. Then she said, a key. A code. Something ancient, left by my ancestors. It is called the Starseed Protocol. The name alone made the hairs on Rian's arms stand. What does it do? He asked. I do not know, Silara admitted. I only know the Continuum believes it will strengthen their empire, make them unstoppable. Rian didn't like the sound of that at all. Before he could ask more, the lift doors opened to the main deck. Bright white lights illuminated the central corridor, and several officers glanced up as Rian and Silara passed. Most of them were used to long, quiet nights and routine reports. None of them expected to see a glowing foreign visitor walking calmly beside a lieutenant. What is she wearing? One technician whispered. Is that a tattoo? Another asked. Rian ignored the questions and moved quickly toward the command center. He could feel Silara's attention shifting as they approached the automatic doors. She studied the walls, screens, and the emblem of the Terran fleet, as if memorizing everything. When the doors opened, Commander Aria Holt looked up from the central table. She was sharp, disciplined, and always aware of even the smallest disturbance on her station. So when she saw Silara, her eyes widened just slightly, not fear, not shock, but alert curiosity. Lieutenant Calder, she said. Yes, ma'am, Rian said, stepping forward. The commander looked at Silara. Name? Silara, she answered with a polite nod. Species? Not human, Silara replied simply, but peaceful. Commander Holt didn't smile. She didn't frown. She simply studied Silara with the same steady gaze she used on suspicious cargo containers. How did you get aboard this station? I traveled through folded space, Silara answered. A short jump, very unstable, but necessary. Why necessary? Silara lifted her chin slightly. Because the Continuum hunts me. That got everyone's attention. The room went silent. Commander Holt straightened. The Velcor Continuum? The ones from the Outer Rim? Yes. Ryan stepped in. Ma'am, she says they're tracking her because she carries something important. Important to whom? The commander asked. Everyone. Silara replied softly. Commander Holt tapped the console beside her. Engineering. Run a long-range scan. Look for any ships entering this sector. Aye, Commander, a voice responded over the intercom. Holt returned her gaze to Silara. Are the Continuum actually coming here? Now. Maybe not now, but soon. Silara lowered her voice. They do not abandon a chase. The commander exhaled slowly. Lieutenant Calder, why did she come with you specifically? Action notation. IMC. Silara answered before Rian could speak. Because he is the resonant mind. He is stable. Commander Holt gave Rian a long look. Rian shrugged helplessly. Apparently, Silara added, your lieutenant did not attack me. He spoke first. He thought before reacting. That is a strength among humans. Rian coughed awkwardly. Commander Holt folded her arms. Silara, if the continuum is truly coming, humanity cannot be dragged into your conflict without understanding the full situation. We need reasons. You will have them, Silara promised. But please listen carefully. If I am taken, the continuum will unlock the Starseed Protocol. And once they do, no sector will be safe. What exactly is the protocol? Holt asked. Silara's golden eyes dimmed. A creation of the old builders. A power so strong that my ancestors locked it away inside the minds of their descendants. Only we can access it. Only we can refuse it. And the continuum wants it, Holt said. Yes, to control everything. That settled the room into a heavy silence. No one moved. No one blinked. Even Rian felt a tightness in his chest. Then, the intercom crackled. Commander, engineering reported. We're detecting 3 unknown vessels entering long-range sensors. No identification codes, but they match the continuum engine signatures we have in our database. Silara closed her eyes in quiet dread. They found me, she whispered. Commander Holt didn't hesitate. Alert the station. Full defensive posture. Lock down all external docks. Prepare the shield grid. Aye, Commander. Officers rushed to their stations. Screens lit up with red warnings. Alarm lights flashed along the walls. Rian felt the shift instantly. This quiet outpost had become a fortress preparing for war. Commander Holt stepped closer to Silara. If we protect you, the continuum will see that as an act of defiance. They'll come at us hard. Silara lowered her head. I know, and I do not wish for humans to suffer because of me. We'll suffer more if we surrender someone who asked for help, Holt replied firmly. That is not how humanity works. Silara looked up, her expression full of surprise. Rian stepped closer. I told you. Humans don't turn away people seeking refuge. Silara's glowing eyes softened. You truly are what the rumors say. The species who protect. We're stubborn, Rian corrected. That's all. But Silara shook her head slowly. No. You are brave. Commander Holt turned to her officers. We don't hand over guests. Prepare to send a response to the approaching vessels. We'll negotiate if possible. Fight, if not. Aye, Commander. Silara stared around the room, watching humans spring into action fast, focused, and completely willing to put themselves at risk for someone they had known for less than an hour. You are remarkable, she whispered. Rian gave her a light nudge on the shoulder. Stick with us. Humanity's not perfect, but we try. Lights across the station changed to bright red as the announcement echoed. All personnel, battle readiness, level 3. Continuum vessels approaching. Silara's skin glowed faintly again, not bright, but warm, like a small flame trying to grow in the dark. Thank you, she said quietly. Rian nodded. We're not standing with you yet. But we're about to. The station hummed with power, screens lit up with incoming ship data. Officers shouted coordinates. The defense grid activated, and as the continuum ships moved closer, Silara stood between humans who had chosen without fear to protect her, because humanity did not surrender those who asked for refuge. The warning sirens echoed through Terran Research Outpost 9, turning the quiet, forgotten station into a battlefield in preparation. Red lights pulsed along every corridor, doors locked, panels slid shut. Lieutenant Rian Calder had never seen the outpost so alive. Silara stood beside him on the command deck, her golden spiral eyes watching every screen with tense focus. The soft glow in her skin pulsed brighter now, not fear exactly, but a controlled pressure, as if her energy responded to the danger. Commander Arya Holt pointed at the tactical display. 3 continuum ships, heavily armed, larger than ours, and fast. Her tone stayed calm, but the slight wrinkle between her brows revealed her concern. They're closing in formation. No attempt at communication yet, Rian swallowed. So negotiations are unlikely. Continuum don't negotiate, Silara said softly. They deliver demands. As if the universe wanted to prove her right, the communication panel blinked red. Incoming transmission. Commander Holt nodded at the officer. Put it through. An image snapped onto the main screen, a stern alien with pale metallic skin and sharp dark markings across his face, almost like carved lines. His uniform was rigid, black, and lined with bright silver threads. His eyes glowed a cold, icy blue that held no warmth, no empathy. I am High Marshal Verak of the Velcor Continuum, he declared, voice deep and controlled. Your station harbors a fugitive property of the Continuum Empire. Rian clenched his jaw. Property. Silara's posture stiffened behind him. Commander Holt stepped forward. This is Terran territory. We protect those who request asylum. We do not hand over individuals without reason. There is no reason needed, Verak replied. She is ours. Silara stepped forward. I am not yours. Verak's eyes sharpened. You carry what belongs to us. Surrender yourself, and the humans will be spared. Rian muttered under his breath. Typical. Commander Holt straightened her shoulders. Our answer is no. A long silence followed. Verak watched them with unblinking eyes. Then, without emotion, he said, Then your outpost will be erased. The screen went dark. Immediately, alarms screamed. Continuum vessels accelerating, a tactical officer shouted. Weapons charging. Commander Holt didn't hesitate. Raise shields. Activate mining lasers. Prepare intercept drones. Yes, Commander. Rian rushed to the defensive console. Silara followed, moving quickly, but with a strange grace. What can I do to help? She asked. You said you could interface with our systems, Rian said. Can you boost our drone speed? I will try. She placed her hands on the side of the console. Thin silver lines of energy spread from her fingertips like gentle sparks. The screen flickered, then sharpened. Data streams became faster, smoother. What did you do? Rian asked. I aligned your electrical flow, Silara said. Your machines think cleaner now. Machines think? All machines think, she replied softly. Yours are simply quiet. Rian didn't have time to respond. The outpost shook violently as the first attack hit. Shields at 72%, someone called out. Holt snapped her attention to the tactical display. Return fire. Use the mining lasers. 4 bright beams fired from the station into space. The Continuum ships twisted gracefully aside. Their armor shimmered as the laser beams slid across their hulls. Direct hit on one vessel, an officer reported. But no visible damage. Of course, Silara whispered. Continuum armor bends light. Well, that's cheating, Rian muttered. The second blast hit. The whole station trembled. Panels rattled. Lights flickered. Rian steadied himself. Shields? 58%. Commander Holt called out. Deploy orbital drones. On the display, 6 small drones launched from the outpost, forming a defensive ring like metallic fireflies. Silara immediately interfaced with them, her glow intensifying. I can guide them faster, she said. Do it, Holt ordered. The drones shot forward, weaving patterns that most pilots couldn't match. Continuous beams fired from them, aiming at the joints between the Continuum ship's armor plates. This time, sparks flew. Direct micro-damage detected, an officer shouted. Rian smiled. Good. But the smile vanished when the Continuum ships turned their focus to the drones. 2 quick blasts, clean, precise, and 2 drones were gone. Silara flinched as if struck. I felt them end. Can you keep control of the others? Rian whispered. Silara's voice was firm. Yes. The battle raged. The outpost shook again and again. Shields dropped to 40%. 37. 30. Commander Holt gripped the table edge. We can't keep taking hits like this. We can't stop, Rian said. If we let them take Silara. I know, Holt replied, and her voice softened just barely. I know. Silara suddenly gasped. The glow around her flickered. Rian turned quickly. What's wrong? The Continuum is preparing a boarding strike. They are charging a focused entry beam. What does that mean? They will cut through your hull and enter the station. Hundreds of them. Rian cursed under his breath. We need to stop that beam. You cannot, Silara said. Not with your weapons. What about yours? Holt asked sharply. I do not have weapons, Silara replied, frustration shaking her voice. I am only the key, not the tool. Rian looked at her glowing hands. You have more power than you think. We do not use power for harm, she whispered. Then use it for survival, Holt said. Another blast shook the station. The lights flickered dangerously this time. Shields at 25%. Silara stepped away from the console. A faint light began to spread across her skin, brighter and brighter. Ryan's breath caught. What are you doing? Something forbidden. Silara whispered. Something ancient. I will not activate the protocol fully, but I can use a fragment. Enough to defend, not destroy. Is it safe? Rian asked. No, Silara said honestly. But if I do nothing, we all die. Rian wanted to argue, but she was right. The Continuum ships aligned in a perfect triangular formation outside. A bright blue spiral formed between them. A gathering attack that hummed through the station walls. They're preparing the entry beam, an officer shouted. Commander Holt clenched her fists. Silara now. Silara raised her hands. A soft, golden mist wrapped around her arms, rising like smoke. The spirals in her eyes spun faster, faster, until they looked like tiny stars. The air around her vibrated. Then, flash. A wave of golden force burst from her body, spreading across the entire room like a rippling shield. It passed through walls, corridors, and outer panels, coating the entire outpost with shimmering light. Outside the station, the Continuum's entry beam fired. It hit the golden barrier and shattered. Brilliant blue fragments scattered like broken glass across space. Beam deflected, a tactical officer cried out. No hull breach. Rian stared at Silara, stunned. She stood in the center of the deck, chest rising and falling heavily, her skin flickering like a dimming flame. Commander Holt exhaled in relief. You did it. But Silara shook her head weakly. It will not hold long. They will try again. And I cannot do that more than once. Cries. Rian stepped beside her. We'll protect you. Her eyes softened. I know. The Continuum ships slowed their attack for the moment, studying this new defense. But everyone in the room understood what that meant. They were preparing something stronger. Something worse. Silara whispered. They will not leave without the starseed. And we will not hand you over, Rian said firmly. Commander Holt nodded. The Continuum wanted a quick victory. Now they know humanity doesn't hide. Silara looked at them humans who refused fear, and a small, hopeful smile crossed her face. You do not hide, she whispered. You stand. For a few long seconds after Silara's golden shield faded, Terran Research Outpost 9 remained completely silent. Officers stood frozen at their stations, waiting to see if the Continuum would strike again. The screens still showed 3 enemy ships, holding position outside the station, their engines glowing like 3 cold stars. Lieutenant Rian Calder stood beside Silara, ready to catch her if she fell. Her glow had faded to a faint shimmer, her breathing slow but deep. She had used power meant to stay locked away, a power she never wanted to touch again. Commander Arya Holt broke the silence first. Status report. Shields at 22%, one officer said. Structural integrity holding but strained. No further attack detected, another added. Continuum vessels have paused their assault. Rian frowned. Why pause? They had the upper hand. They are confused, Silara whispered. Her voice sounded softer than before, but stronger than expected. They have never seen a living barrier stop their entry beam. Rian gave her a gentle look. That was incredible, by the way. It was dangerous, Silara corrected. It was not meant to be used like that. Still, Rian insisted. You saved the entire station. Silara lowered her eyes. I saved the humans, who protected me, first. Commander Holt stepped toward them. Silara, the continuum won't stop here. They're calculating their next move. Can you sense what they plan? Silara closed her eyes. The spirals in her irises spun slowly. They plan a resonance pulse, a shockwave. It will disable your shields completely. Rian stiffened. Disable? Or destroy? Disable, she said. They want me alive. They want the station intact enough to board. Commander Holt turned to her tactical officers. Prepare countermeasures. Charge the defense cannons. Ready the EMP disruptors. Yes, Commander. Silara suddenly reached for Rian's arm, her hand warm and trembling. Your machines will not stop their pulse. They designed it to break through stronger barriers. Kane. Barn. The country is rouge. Well, 70 way. Rian exchanged a look with Holt. Then what do we do? Silara took a shaky breath. There is only one way. We must make them believe the Starseed Protocol is gone. Commander Holt raised an eyebrow. Gone? But it's inside you. Yes, Silara said. But I can mask it, hide it, make it appear as if the code has burned out. If they sense nothing, they will lose interest. And if they don't believe it? Rian asked. Then they will attack until nothing remains, Silara answered honestly. Rian rubbed the back of his neck. That's not encouraging. No, she said softly. It is not. Holt crossed her arms. What do you need to mask it? Silara hesitated. I need a place of resonance. Somewhere quiet. Somewhere where human minds hold strong memory. A place with emotional weight. Only then can I align your station's field with my own. Rian blinked. Human minds? Emotional weight? What kind of place are you looking for? 1. Silara turned to him. You know the answer, Rian called her. He froze. Her eyes were fixed on him specifically, and then it hit him. My room? He asked, stunned. Yes, she said. Your bed carries the first moment of trust. It is the place where my request for sanctuary began. My people believe such spaces hold meaning. Enough resonance to hide the protocol. Several officers overheard that. A few raised eyebrows. Commander Holt tried to hide a small smirk. Rian cleared his throat. So you're saying, my bunk can save the outpost? Silara nodded. Your bunk can save all of you. Holt didn't waste a second. Lieutenant Calder, escort Silara to your quarters. I'll maintain defense readiness and buy you time. Rian nodded. Yes, Commander. Silara looked slightly embarrassed but determined. We must hurry. As they left the command deck, the distant hum of continuum power buildup vibrated faintly through the walls. The station wasn't under attack yet, but the tension was tightening. Like a storm gathering pressure. The hallways were empty now. Most personnel were sealed in safe zones or manning high-priority stations. The red emergency lights created long shadows along the floor, as Rian guided Silara quickly toward his room. When they reached his quarters, the door slid open. Everything looked the same as before. Bed slightly unmade. Boots still on the floor. A datapad blinking softly on the desk. Silara stepped inside slowly, like someone entering a sacred place. The glow on her skin brightened. This room, she whispered. It still carries my first moment of safety. Rian crossed his arms. What exactly do you need to do? I must lie on the bed, she said simply. And align your emotional resonance with my energy. It will mask the Starseed Protocol's signature. Rian blinked. And how do I help? Silara approached the bed and sat lightly on the edge. You just stay near. Your presence is the anchor. Rian felt heat rise in his face. Near, like... How near? Silara looked up calmly. 2 feet away is fine. Oh, Rian exhaled. Good. She smiled faintly. You... humans... think... strangely sometimes. You have no idea, he muttered. Silara placed her hands on the bed and closed her eyes. A soft golden glow began spreading from her palms into the mattress, then into the walls, then into the air itself. The room felt warmer, calmer, like a quiet memory being replayed. Rian, she said softly. Yeah? Think of the moment you chose to protect me. He hesitated. That was pretty fast. Yes, she said. He nodded slowly, letting himself remember that moment. The shock of seeing her appear, the confusion, the fear, and the decision not to draw his weapon, to trust first. Silara's glow strengthened. The lights in the room flickered. The walls vibrated with a soft hum. Something's happening, Rian said. Yes, Silara whispered. The masking is spreading. Across the station, sensors began shifting, readings changing subtly. On the command deck, instruments beeped. Commander, a sensor officer said. The continuum just dropped their scan intensity. Commander Holt leaned forward. Do they still detect Silara? No, ma'am, the officer said with surprise. Their readings show 0 starseed energy. Holt smiled slightly. Good. Now, let's see if they believe it. Back in Rian's room, Silara's glow slowly faded. She opened her eyes. It is done. The mask is complete. Rian let out a long breath. Did it work? We will know soon, Silara said. The intercom crackled suddenly. Lieutenant Calder, report to command deck immediately, Commander Holt said. Both of you. Quote. Rian and Silara exchanged a look and rushed back through the corridor. When they entered the command deck, all eyes were on the tactical screen. The continuum ships were turning, drifting away. 2. Retreating. Commander Holt spoke calmly, but her eyes were bright. The continuum broadcast a final message. They believe their target is dead. Silara inhaled sharply. Dead? To them, Holt clarified. Your energy signature is gone, masked. They think whatever they wanted burned out during the battle. Rian grinned. So they're leaving. Ships on the screen accelerated, engines flaring. Moments later, 3 bright flashes appeared as the continuum vessels jumped out of the system entirely. Cheers echoed across the deck. Officers clapped shoulders, shouted in relief, and exchanged smiles. Holt looked at Silara. It seems you get to live peacefully. And we get to keep our station intact. Silara's eyes softened with gratitude. Thank you. All of you. Rian chuckled. Especially my bed, apparently. Silara smiled warmly. Yes. Your bed saved many lives. Some officers laughed. Rian tried not to blush. Commander Holt approached Silara. If you want asylum with humanity, we will grant it formally. Silara's voice trembled with emotion. I would be honored. And, Holt added, glancing at Rian, you already seem to have a place to stay. Rian coughed. Let's not start rumors. Silara tilted her head. Rumors about what? Never mind. Rian muttered. The laughter in the room eased the tension like sunlight after a storm. Silara stepped beside Rian. Quietly, she said, Humans protected me. Humans stood with me. I will not forget this. And we won't forget you either, Rian replied. Outside the station, The stars shone quietly again. No enemy ships. No danger. Only peace. For now, Silara looked at the stars and whispered, "I am safe, because humans do not abandon those who ask for help." Rian smiled softly. "Welcome to the family, Silara." And for the first time since she emerged unarmored in his room, Silara truly felt at home.